Welcome back, everybody. I am really excited to talk to somebody from one of the shows I truly enjoyed on Amazon Prime. That show was Hanna, and now we have to wait another who knows how long until season three comes out. One of the girls who was on there who was in season two in 6 episodes is Pia Hagen. Welcome to the program, Pia.
Hi everybody. Hi, Alan.
Hello, hello. Yeah, and thank you so much. I know it's evening where you are. It's daytime where I am. I'm in Chicago. You're in London, I think, right?
Yes, I'm in London.
Perfect. Well, thank you for making the time. I appreciate it. I know
No
you
worries.
probably have better things to do. Although, is London on lockdown right now, so you can you
Yeah,
can't go anywhere?
there's not that I would not choose to do this, but there is nothing else to do. So,
Perfect. Well, I'll
yeah,
I'll I'll take an opportunity and use that as a silver lining to get a chance to talk to you.
yes.
So let's talk about Hannah. I love Amazon Prime, and I saw the first season, which again I immediately kind of got into because it's my kind of show. It's drama, it's action, it's really interesting with great acting throughout. And then I
Yeah.
was waiting for season two, and then finally, I don't know if it took a year. I need to double check on that, but about that,
Yeah.
season two came out, and it was a continuation and seeing what happens to the girls after they left in season one. I was looking for you in season one. I was looking through that line. I'm like, she had to be there, but you were not.
No, no.
And then season two is when you joined, which is cool. How did that project come about for you? Because you're early in your career, you're just getting started. So how did that come about?
Well, I was actually living in New York at the time when I
Okay.
auditioned for it. And I auditioned through a self-tape because I was in New York and I was doing theatre. It was my first year out of drama school.
Hmm.
And when I was in drama school, I got a job off Broadway. So I moved to New York in 3 weeks
Oh my
from
God.
Scotland. Yeah, from Scotland to go do the show. And it was Trainspotting Live, if you've seen Trainspotting the movie. And it was amazing, heroin junkie, high energy, crazy. And I decided I want to move to London. Like, it's really blowing up. There's a lot going on in Europe, the UK. They're really like lots of things from Amazon to Netflix are casting out of the UK.
Hmm.
And I was like, I want to do TV and film. So I came over here. I was looking for an agent. I got a really good agent. And my first audition was Hannah. And yeah, and I did a self tape, and then I moved to London 2 weeks later, and then 1 week being into London, I got the call, and he said, "You got the job." So
Wow. Listen, that's
yeah,
it's a great way to kick off a career with an Amazon Prime show like Hannah, which
yeah,
is a really strong show.
definitely,
So good on you. But let's pause for a second because you're Australian. You were in
yeah,
New York, then you were in now you're in London. Before that, you were
yeah.
in Scotland. So let's back up and fill people in of how you managed to travel all over the world.
Well, I've been traveling loads since I was a kid because my dad's business. He was a businessman, and so we always moved around. I lived in Ghana in Africa when I was a kid. My brother was born in California. We've lived all over, and I grew up a long time in London. So coming back here was kind of returning home. My
Okay.
family is back in Australia, but I know London very well because I lived here from when I was 10 till I was 17.
Mhm.
So and then I went to uni, and then I was in boarding school in the US. I was in Michigan for 3 years for high school. I was just all over. So
Where in Michigan? I know out of all the places I picked Michigan because I have a lot of family in Michigan and I grew up in Detroit a little bit. So where in Michigan did you?
well, my dad's from Michigan. He's from the UP.
Okay.
And I went to high school at Interlochen Arts Academy. It's a very fancy, world renowned school. I don't know how I got in at 14, but I did. And I was there from 10, 11, 12th grade. I did theater as well. So it's an arts as well as an academic school. So
Wow. And is
yeah.
it in UP area or
It's at the Mitten, and then it's up here. It's next to Traverse City. So
wow.
quite north, cold,
Yeah.
cold, snowy, long
Yeah.
winter,
Yeah.
that kind of Michigan. So
Excellent. Well, yeah.
yeah.
London, better weather. A little more rain, but certainly quite a bit warmer.
Yeah, well, it depends. Like, I like the snow more than the rain. So
Me
London's
too.
not good in that sense, but it is warmer. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the snow. I love the way it looks. I love how festive it is. I love playing in it. I hate driving in it. So when it comes, it's the snow I prefer in every way to rain unless it's driving. And then driving in the
Yeah.
rain is much, much better.
Well, I don't drive, so I don't have that problem, luckily, But
Yeah,
walking in the snow worse than driving, so
yeah, sometimes I agree.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so getting back to Hannah, you sent in a self-tape, you got to London, you got the job. The shooting in UK? I didn't think it was in UK. Where was the shooting?
So it was a mix. So the first season, the reason you didn't see me is because they cast most of those girls in Hungary, which is
Yeah.
where that was shooting in the forest and stuff like that, and all the extras they got out of there.
Mhm.
And then the Meadows, which was the boarding school that we're at, is in Reading, which is just an hour drive from here, from
Okay.
London. So yeah, an hour drive every morning at 4 a.m., nice, peaceful. And then,
Mhm.
yeah. And then the second half was in Barcelona. And yeah.
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 What was that process like? Again, it's really interesting, right? So you're a girl to 28, and then the girls they're trying to get them kind of acclimated and ready to come out into the world. So they give them a family, they give them a persona, they give them a name. So your name became Charlie.
Mhm.
Um, from the from the pure acting perspective, when you got there, did they tell you, okay, this is going to be kind of where we're going with this? Did they give you a backstory, or here's where you are. Let's start playing.
Well, they give us the script and we only get a couple episodes at a time. So you start to understand the storyline more and understand where you're going, what your arc will be. And when I arrived, like, I really didn't know anything other than what I'd read from the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And they were like, you're wearing a wig, and then we're going to take the wig off because that's your transformation. And you only see it for a second, but I have like a black wig on. And
Mhm.
then my transformation is dyeing my hair blonde, like a teenage girl would
Yeah.
mess up their hair, So I really didn't know anything. It was just kind of a journey. And the fact that I'd never been on a professional TV set before, that was another journey. So it was just, I was going with the flow, just trying to enjoy.
Yeah. Did you
Yeah.
find that you were able to kind of get into the character and that was your safe zone, or with everything that's happening on set, with the craziness that goes in between the different types of shots and so on, it was kind of, it took you a little while to get into it.
Well, I think it was quite easy, like, because the core and the ideas of the show, obviously I'm not an assassin, but it's all about like female relationships
Mhm.
and friendships and growing up. And I did that, and
Yeah.
so just jumping into that, and obviously the roboticness at the beginning and not having your sense of self,
Yeah.
that does play into how I felt on set. I didn't really know what I was doing, So I think that aspect helped it. And then once we started getting more comfortable, we started bringing out the personas and the characters that they put on us at the Meadows. And then it allowed me to just be more comfortable anyway within myself. So I think it all worked hand in hand, really.
Yeah, it's nice. It kind
Yeah.
of because of the arc and where it's going, it worked out really
Yeah.
nicely with your introduction onto being on that type of set. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how did they allow kind of the girls, because it's supposed to be a chemistry between the girls. It's supposed to be somebody that you've basically grown up with. Did they allow time for you to hang out and kind of get to know each other, or it was a lot of shooting and didn't get a chance to really get to know each other?
Um, we did have a lot of time, like, because there's a lot of different shots. Like, even when we're just at the Meadows, there's the mansion, there's the shooting range, there's all these different sections, and of course, these things take really long time, longer
Yeah.
than I even thought, and it allowed us to really just hang out. And it was summertime. It was actually really, really fun experience. I just got to hang out with really nice girls for a whole summer. So
Mhm. That's
yeah.
great. And did you learn how to shoot in the process? Did you learn how to fight? Did you kind of use that as a way to continue building up your skill set?
Yeah, well, I am a martial artist, so that's one of the reasons that I was submitted for it, because they were looking for people. You can see a lot of the like really amazing supporting artists are doing like all kinds of stick things and, you know, like swords. You can see it in some passing shots, and they were hired specifically for that. A lot of those girls are stunt girls and all that kind of amazing stuff. And I'm a fighter. That's what I do. I've done it since I was a kid. So I had that experience. And I've shot guns before from Michigan. I'm from northern Michigan. So,
Yeah.
you know, we shoot targets, all kinds of stuff. It gets boring up there. So, but it was a fast introduction because I never shot like a blank or anything. And the way that they want it to look like, you know what you're doing, you know, because when I've shot a gun before, it's just with another 17-year-old or 16-year-old, you know, with my friends. Like I never learned to actually how to hold it properly and to look like you are an assassin and you trained for it.
Yeah.
So
that's very cool. You mentioned a magic topic of you're a martial artist. I am big fan of martial art films and action films. I've had lots of people on from that world. So what type of martial arts did you do, and what's your specialty?
Well, I grew up doing Taekwondo in Australia, and then I moved to Kung Fu a bit. My parents, you know, were just throwing me all around. I think they put it in me originally because I was quite an angry child. And so they wanted me to let off some steam. And it worked. It worked. I really excelled in it. And then I moved to New York, and I was trying out some different martial arts. I did Jeet Kune Do, which is what Bruce Lee did, and everyone loves Bruce Lee, so it was awesome to try that. And then I've moved here and I've joined a really amazing gym, and I was going to compete this year in Muay Thai, and I'm also training MMA. So
very good. Yeah. So do you have a preference after trying all these different styles? Because all of us, you know, based on our height, based on our agility, we all kind of pick something. I have martial arts background as well, so we all kind of pick something that works for us. So which one of those is more you, or is it MMA so you can play with different things?
I think because of growing up doing Taekwondo, and Taekwondo is predominantly kicking. I grew my flexibility from that. I danced as well, so my flexibility grew from that. But originally it was Taekwondo, you know, and I love kicking, and I'd never even really heard of Muay Thai because it is a really ginormous martial arts in Thailand, but it was just beginning to get popular like around here, you know, for people like me who, you know, don't know all the martial arts. And I love Muay Thai. I love the kicking, the punching, the elbows. It's awesome.
I think Muay Thai kind of started to really get popular when On Buck came out with Tony Jaa, and they saw, oh, that's what Muay Thai can do. Okay, the elbows, the ferocity. I like it. Okay. I know Jean-Claude. I grew up with, you know, Jean-Claude Van Damme. That's why I started doing kind of splits between the chairs because of him. And you know, he did kickboxer, which is Muay Thai. So you know, we've had in the West kind of introductions to Muay Thai because West was, you know, primarily kickboxing, and then we had Muay Thai, and then, you know, it kind of went from there. But Tony Jaa, I think, took that to the next level. With
well, and now they have the UFC, and even Joe Rogan himself, he says if you do Muay Thai and you do jiu-jitsu, then that's the basis for MMA. So
pretty much, and because again, there are beautiful styles that are classic, but they don't necessarily work in a ring environment or in a, you know, real life situation environment. But Muay Thai, boxing, obviously, you know, jiu-jitsu, those are the things that work. So I want to see flashy kicks, but I remember very early on in our kind of training, the instructors were like, okay, yeah, that looks good on TV, but if you're kicking anywhere above the knee, I'm going to make you do about 70 push-ups. Like no, you know, high flying stuff, none of that. Stuff, just for fun.
No, I know exactly what you mean. Like obviously Taekwondo is a very effective martial art, but compared to MMA, like I'm the only girl at my gym who trains MMA because it is very violent. You know, the hammer fist, you are hammering your fist on someone's face. It's scary.
Yeah, and Taekwondo, again, I mean, looking at competitions, you see all the knockouts. You see the knockouts from the, you know, spinning kicks, and they're really violent. But aside from that, in Taekwondo is great. And my son and my daughter, I got them into Taekwondo just to kind of get
Yeah.
flexibility. But now my son is in, Jeet Kune Do and Silat and Eskrima and, more of the things that he will likely apply. And then they mix all sorts of things in it. So right now he's doing a bit of Kenpo. So, he's doing hammer fist. He came back
Yeah.
yesterday. He's like, we're doing hammer fist. Okay, good. We're getting somewhere.
I love it.
Yeah, it's cool, but hopefully you'll get a chance to kind of use that, because that ability will either take you into stunts, or it'll take you into some of the action genres, so you get a chance to use
Yeah.
it. I love stunt people. They should be getting Oscars, but hopefully for you as an actress, you'll go more in the acting route and just use the
Yeah.
skill as opposed to being a stunt woman. So
Yeah. No, I would be interested in doing my own stunts, but
yeah.
not being a stunt woman per se.
Yeah, I think that's a wise choice. So that's very cool. I did not know that about you. Good. I like it. Another martial artist on the program. Very, very cool. Um, in terms of again, kind of you've done some shorts, right? And then you got Hannah, and then and then 2020 happened, and a lot of projects kind of got put on hold and got canceled. Obviously, there are bigger things at play than us not getting to play on set. But
Yeah.
did you have anything lined up? Any projects that are in the works that I didn't see on IMDb?
Well, not currently, but I have been auditioning for quite some good stuff. Like right now, things in the UK are on hold because of the new strain. But because even a month ago, film sets were going. I was auditioning for all kinds of stuff. They had tours planned for this upcoming March for theater and stuff. Because I studied musical theater, so I'm auditioning for all kinds of stuff, and those are all cancelled now because it's quite serious over here. But I've been auditioning for really great stuff. I'm like glad to see, even if I don't get the jobs, I'm glad to see that people are being creative and are wanting to release stuff, and I'm reading a lot of great work, so I'm happy about that at least.
Yeah, theater is, we don't know when they're going to get back. And by the way, still, you should be happy that you're in London and Europe as opposed to being in the US. It's a lot worse here.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe by the end of the year, the theaters are going to start coming back. We'll see. So, do you have a preference? Again, coming from a theater background and a musical theater, which I love. Musicals are my happy place. Do you have a preference of, if you get two offers, right? One is to do be a guest star on a Amazon or a Netflix show, recurring guest star, not one appearance, or do a tour of musical theater with a great London company. Which one would be the one that you would say, in that choice of two things I love, I'm gonna have to pick one?
I would say TV and film. I would pick TV and film over theater. Although I studied it because I love music. I come from a musical background. I play instruments. They're all lined up, and I just love music. I come from a very musical family, but that doesn't have a lot of experience with theater, like my parents and things like that. But I love, TV and film. I would choose it first. Yeah, because I love seeing it all come together at the end, because when you're on set, you're like, what am I doing? What's going on? And then all the magic they put on it, and it looks amazing. And I couldn't believe when I saw Hannah. I was just like, is that what I did? Like, I couldn't believe it.
Such a great show. Yeah, it really puts you through a ringer of emotions. And the people that you're rooting for end up making choices that you don't agree with. There's a lot of stuff that's going on in Hannah. It's a really, really great dramatic series.
Yeah.
In terms of, you mentioned instruments, can you show us what do you play?
Yeah. So I have a baritone sax. You can see it's there.
Yay!
And and so I studied at an actor muso program, and I've been playing saxophone for 13 years now. So that's my primary instrument. And then I have an alto sax there, and then a keyboard, because I've just been playing keys for a while. And that's Telecaster, and then there is a selector bass guitar there. So
Very cool. My son is doing alto saxophone, so
cool.
that's what he's been doing for I think about a year now, and he's starting to get to the point where we recognize the melody that he's trying to.
Yeah.
It takes a while. But on the saxophone, I didn't realize, you hear saxophone and it's like, yeah, it's beautiful. I really like it. But you don't realize just how complicated it is and how many, different, buttons there are. And I remember he was struggling because like you're placing your hand, and if your finger is a little off, the whole thing goes off. Because there's
Yeah.
so many different areas to work with. So very, very, very.
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear that you're playing saxophone. That's very cool.
Yeah, no, I love it. It was one of those things where my school was like, everyone go around when I was 10, look at the instruments, and if you like one, then you can play that in band. And I saw the sax and I was like, I want to play this one. I don't know, maybe the amount of buttons appealed to me because I like complicated things apparently. And ever since then, I just loved it. It's awesome because you can play classical music on it. You can play that jazzy sound. I love the different types of saxophones. Like baritone saxophone is awesome. It's so low and you're just like, is that a saxophone playing? It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, it's like Harry Potter. You choose your own wand, and the wand chooses you. So the saxophone chose you.
Exactly.
Hopefully, it was an alto. At 10 years old, not a not a tenor.
No, yeah. No, but actually, I got introduced to the baritone because I went to band camp, and I was quite good at sight reading, and so they made me play the baritone, and I had to carry a baritone in one hand and an alto in the other hand, and I was 13 years old walking around with these things. It was horrible. It was some form of torture, I think.
Yeah, that's not good for your posture. That's not good for your skeletal muscular system as you're growing up. Okay, yeah. Again, that makes you tougher, right? That's the fighter in you that had to fight through it at the early age. Not to put you on the spot, but do you want to play anything? I'd love to hear.
Oh no, don't even seriously. Don't make me like if I could have prepped something, but no. I honestly haven't been playing for a while. I got corona last month, so I've been just
Me too.
Healing. Yeah, twins. Yay.
No worries. And had I known that you played instruments, because again, so young in your career, there's not a lot of stuff on you on the internet, so I couldn't find it. Had I known it, I would have asked you to prep something. But next time, you're welcome to come on. Tell me about you getting corona. We got ours, my whole family and I, got it in the beginning of December. When did you get yours?
Yeah, I got it on December 11th, and I live by myself, so I've been very, very careful for the past year because obviously if I get really unwell, there's no one here to take care of me or whatever. And I worked a hospitality shift, and then I got it from that. And I was like, it was a mild case because I didn't go to hospital, but I was very, very unwell, like the sickest I've been in my adult life. So yeah.
It sucked. That's it's not fun. I'm still dealing with some kind of after effects. So yeah, it was not an enjoyable experience. I don't recommend that for anyone.
I keep like telling everyone, I'm like, I was careful, and I still got it, and it really messed me up. So you guys be careful, please. Like
and that's the other thing. But I think the good part of it, right? You're young, obviously. But the fact that your lungs, had so much development from your activity and then from playing saxophone, I think that helps. I actually like saxophone because my daughter plays the violin. So when my 11-year-old, my daughter is 16, my son is 11. So when my son kind of came to whatever fourth grade, and they said start choosing your instruments, my daughter wanted him to go to the orchestra and wanted to play the violin. I said, you know what? No, I want him to develop breathing, because having bronchial issues myself as a kid and then going into my adulthood, I wanted him to have breathing. So I wanted him to play something. I think he started with oh my God, what is it called? What I'll remember the name of this instrument in a minute.
What does it look like? What does it look like?
It's what Louis Armstrong used to play.
A trumpet?
Yeah, trumpet. Thank you. Because I'm like, it's not a trombone. It's not a trombone, but trombone is the somehow stuck in my brain. It's a trumpet.
Yeah.
So we started with a trumpet, and then if you're like, they had that, choosing process of if you're good with the trumpet, then you're going to get a chance to play the saxophone. So he was very good with the trumpet, and then he went to saxophone. He's like, what am I doing? I like all these buttons. This is not a... So, but yeah, the breathing was the big thing for me. So, he got COVID again, much younger. Their case was mild. My daughter and my son, my wife and I were definitely more kind of medium range, but hopefully all of that kind of allowed your body to deal with it better because your lungs already developed.
Yeah, I think so. I hope so. Yeah, and being athletic as well. But then I thought that I would be better. Like I thought that I would be less sick than I was because I'm so active and healthy, but I was quite sick. So I was surprised about that,
It's a really nasty bug, and you never know how it's going to hit you. I was worried because again of my prior lung issues, having something that affects your lungs, no thank you. And when I got it, it was not fun, but thankfully it went. I had to get on antibiotics, a few times to make sure that kind of all that stuff gets out, but not a serious case, never had a fever. I don't know if he had a fever. We never had fevers. It was just took a while for it to clear.
That's good. I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah. So all the long story, coming to a conclusion is you said you haven't played for a while. So you had COVID, start playing. It'll help, your.
Yeah, definitely. I've just started back exercising this week and stuff and just slowly getting into it. So
I'm playing tennis for the first time since that. I think. Yeah, today. So we'll see how that goes.
Cool. Good luck.
Thank you. So getting back into some of the acting things, right? So what is your acting approach? Lots of actors have their own ways of getting into character. How do you now, having gone through Hanna and that experience on a set, what did that do in terms of growing your acting ability and approach?
I actually learn a lot from seeing other people work and discussing things like that. Like, because right now, obviously, we're at home. It's a lot of introspection, a lot of working on yourself, and I can only do so much for myself. I'm not one of those people who can read a text, and like develop any kind of technique from that. I have to see it, and I just literally learned so much about TV acting because it's a whole different thing from watching the other girls do it, and these girls who were on the first season, and these girls who have more lines or have more experience, just working and watching them on the monitor, watching them in real life. And it gave me such an insight. And then I would like go home and I'll be looking over the lines and I'll be like, oh, like that's what they were doing with this. How would I do it? And I love watching films and things like that, learning like that. So it was just watching a film and learning from that in real life. And I took a lot from watching the other people into my own technique, and especially with TV technique, because I'd never seen it before. So
was there, again, for season 3, if you cannot reveal something, don't say it, but or actually you can say it, we can just cut it out, and that's why we're but have there been any discussions on when season 3 is going to start shooting, whether you're going to be a part of it? Because now I need to kind of back to the last thing I just mentioned, right? Some girls obviously are not going to be a part of it for reasons I don't want to ruin for people. But I think you ended in episode 6, so unless I'm mistaken in remembering your arc, they can do a lot of things with you in season 3, right? Am I right? Or
yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like I only know what I've heard, and and I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but yeah, but the thing is, right, for season 1 was its own story based on the movie, and then season 2 completely new storyline, and because they've introduced so much, they can go anywhere. which is like the awesome thing. And it's such an original story. And they were so lucky to have the base of season 1 in the movie, because the offshoots are endless, you know. So I'm excited to see season 3 and see where it goes.
Yeah, hopefully you're a part of it, and get a chance to play as well, because again, there's a lot that can be done, and they ended season 2 on a very interesting note. So now it kind of goes back, and then you're kind of, you are a double agent in a way, not you particularly, but Hannah's character. So double agent, and many things can go wrong, which I'm sure they they will in the process. Yeah, Esme was unbelievable in it. I'm just really impressed with her acting. Do the girls, you and the girls, still stay in touch? I know kind of Warrior Nun is another show that I really enjoyed. They seem to be very close. Some of the other shows like that are. How about Hannah? How's the cast? Are you keeping in touch?
Yeah, we were lucky. Like everyone got along. Everyone, like the runners on set, everyone is awesome. The makeup artist, everyone was so cool. And because it was just a lot of downtime, because different scenes, different things, we all got to hang out so much. And unfortunately, because of Corona, we were going to have a big reunion and have a big, party, go out, and we couldn't do it. But hopefully, whenever season 3 comes out, then we can just have a big season 2, season 3 reunion and deal with it. But we are keeping in contact, a lot of us. So
you can do a Zoom reunion, right? You can all get on, and a lot of shows did that during the pandemic, which was cool. So you can do that.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good plan. I'll tell them. I'll put that in the WhatsApp chat.
Yeah, you should. You should. Yeah. I invited, a bunch of people from the show. I know everybody kind of has their own schedule, and some people are shooting, so they can't make it. But yeah, if anybody's watching, you're always welcome to jump on. Very cool. So listen, best of luck. I know hopefully things open up quickly in London, and you get a chance to land some projects and continue the career. It's a great start, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed and rooting for you.
Yeah, thank you. No, I feel like so happy. Like everything just seemed to move so fast. Like I left drama school early for a job, and then I've just stayed booked like since then. And it makes me feel positive throughout this time that, things will pick up where they left off, and hopefully people are able to be creative in this time. And then when we come out of it, there'll be an explosion. Someone said that we'll have like another 20s, where everything is creative explosion, possibly, because it's kind of in a depression right now. So
I hope so. I certainly hope so. And hopefully, people can start being nicer to each other. I don't know, again, how it is in UK. It's not that way, where you grew up. So I'm hopeful that something good will come out of it.
Me too.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Pia. Best of luck to you. Please stay in touch. And if you, start playing and you want to come back on the show and play us something, you're always welcome.
Definitely, I will. Thank you so much. It's been awesome.
My pleasure. And thanks to everybody for tuning in into another episode of The Love of Acting. We know you love it as much as we do. If you haven't watched Hanna, go watch it. It's right below the video. Open it up and go check it out. I know you'll enjoy it. Thank you.